Toronto Maple Leafs, it has been over 21,000 days since they won the Stanley Cup. It has been just shy of 9,000 days since they won a second-round series, 8,000 days since winning a Game 7, and 1,900 days since losing to a Zamboni driver from the American Hockey League in the name of David Ayres, who now hawks mattresses for Sleep Country. Now, I love David Ayres, but I just want to remind everybody, those are the stats after the Leafs got gassed in Game 7. They gave up 3 goals in the second period, which I wasn't a big fan of, but rumor has it the implosion in Toronto was so bad they gave up 3 more goals in the handshake line. They were bad.
I think the biggest question is whether or not they hang on to Mitch Marner. And I actually had a look at the free agent list this summer, and it is long. There are a lot of great players available. So if the Leafs decide to keep Mitch Marner or not, I don't think they'll have any problem freeing up that cap space and signing somebody who's available. I am really curious to see if he gets picked up by any team before Mark Carney decides to put him in his cabinet. Because I mean,
hey, what'll happen first? Will Mitch resign in Toronto, or will the Liberals find a way to rig the election to get 172 seats as they keep rechecking votes? Oh, they won by 1 here, 2 here.
No, the bigger question is what happens first? Does Mitch Marner find a new team, or do the Liberals release a fall budget? I think Mitch Marner will probably find a new team, but the question is where. I mean, that is a big, big contract to take on for somebody who has, up to this point, shown that at least with the Toronto Maple Leafs is not a playoff guy. Now, could he be with another team? Absolutely. Sometimes a change of scenery is all you need, especially because he's never been out of Toronto. Like, he's lived in, maybe a change of scenery would actually be really good for his psyche. That might actually be the best thing for him. The question is, where does he go? Where does he fit in? I'm really curious to see what happens in the offseason.
Can I remind you, to piggyback off your comment about the Canadian budget or lack thereof, Russia has a public budget. The Ukraine, despite being blown to smithereens, has a public budget online. The Taliban have a public budget. Canada, China, nope. No budget this year.
No comment.
Thank you, all the boomers. This is fantastic. Also, I posted this meme on our Instagram page that I saw it, and I thought it was the truest thing ever. Leafs fans will be crying, heartbroken that their team gets bounced in the second round by the Boston Bruins in Game 7. Their team fails and doesn't deliver every single year. But you import 1.5 million foreigners from the third world to the point where Toronto looks like New India. They don't say a single thing, not a single complaint. I want to be a nice person. I don't want people to look at me like I mean that I'm defending my country and standing for what it was built for. Nope, not going to do any of that. I'm a good person. I'm a liberal. Don't worry. I love high taxes. I love my roads not working. I love the fact that my health care takes up all my tax money but does nothing for me. But hey, free health care.
I am totally okay with people coming into this country as long as they're vetted and they go through the proper channels.
This country was built on settlers, not immigrants. It was built on people that had high skills and had ambition and wanted more than what was over in corrupt Europe. And that is not the case today. I pray the only hope that we have left in this country is if we become the 51st state and the GOAT absorbs Canada. Also, I'm looking forward to how many 51st state comments he makes in Kalanaskis, in Canmore, at the G7. Oh, it's great to be here in the 51st state. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
When are you moving to Berta? Sounds like your bags are already packed and you're ready to go vote in that that vote they have coming up, if it even ever comes up. I don't think it's going to happen. Listen, you can say all you want, Alberta's going to leave. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Canada will let it happen. But when you move into Berta, sounds like you're perfect for Berta.
Hey, man, you can say whatever you want. One of our listeners will capture a video. I'll be the first lease signed in the great state of Alberta when they become the 51st state. Travis moving to the U.S. You'll see it. Some of our listeners, somebody in Alberta, in Calgary, Edmonton, our 2 biggest demographics. We love Alberta. We love specifically the oil capital of Canada. They will see that. They will capture. They'll send it in. We love you fine folks over there in Alberta.
That's my home province, man. I'll always have a Paul Brandt song, Alberta Bound, in my head every time I think of that beautiful province. So I'm with you as far as the love for Alberta.
By the way, speaking of packing your shit, how about Brendan Shanahan? Pack your shit. Don't let the door hit you on the way out and get out. In the words of Sully from Godsmack, stay away.
I said it on the show last week. They've changed everything but their socks. They've changed their socks. They've changed everything. So keep changing. Keep changing. Like, listen, you got to keep throwing that dart at the board until you hit the bullseye. And, you know, I I get it. I'm pretty sure Shanny saw it coming. I think he knew that his job was on the line if they didn't get out of the second round. So he probably had his cubicle packed up and ready to go before they even told him.
I also want to grill your boy, Ron, I have more faces than the clock Storm McLean, for comparing Austin Matthews after Game 6. 1 goal in the second round. He only has one more goal than my co-host Dave Wheeler does in the Stanley Cup playoffs second round, saying AM34 looks like Mark Messier out there tonight. Ron, you threw Don Cherry under the bus, you snake. You ruined Hockey Night in Canada Coach's Corner, and now you're going to go and do this? Man, come on.
Look, he was comparing the fact that they made comments. I don't think he was comparing them as far as player to player. There is no comparison. The Moose is on a completely different level. They're completely different styles of players. One is a born leader. The other one is a appointed leader. I feel bad for Austin. There is the question that we have to ask. I know that Austin Matthews feels the pressure living in Toronto. I totally get it. He feels it. He understands it. But he doesn't quite understand it the same way as a Canadian does. Now, I'm not calling him out saying he doesn't care because he's an American. I know he cares, but I just think it cares different. It's a different kind of care than it is, because he grew up in Arizona. It's a different kind of care. It's like you going over, and when you played in Sweden, and if they said, hey, this national championship's a big deal, you'd go, okay, that's a big deal. Okay, I understand. You guys think it's a big deal. But you're not really going to understand how big a deal it is. And would that change him at all if he understood it differently? I don't know. But I just don't think he understands it the way a Canadian does, what it's like to have that pressure on you of 1967 of playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I don't know. I think the fact that they're going to have a mostly American core after the summer, you're going to have Matthews and Nyes up front. You got Nylander, who obviously is a Swede, spent a lot of time in Canada as well. And then you're going to have on the back end for the goaltenders, you're going to have Stoll and Woll, both Americans. You got Americans left, right, and center. So I don't know, maybe that's the problem, that the Americanization of the Toronto Maple Leafs, they don't care about that same passion that these Leafs fans have, although half these Leafs fans are losers and voted for the Liberals in the last election 4 weeks ago, which I haven't forgotten about. But am I far off to say that the Leafs are now the Dallas Cowboys of Canada? They just cannot get it done when it matters most. And listen, at least the Dallas Cowboys have the Dallas Cowboy cheerleading squad, which are fantastic. The Leafs don't even have that. I remember in Mississippi we had cheerleaders. They're better than what the Toronto Maple Leafs had. I mean, I know Toronto is dump of the universe, but what do you think, Dave?
Well, that's the thing is, look, there is such a legacy and such a fan base behind it that when you have that talented of a team, you're going to, I guess, cheer for the team. I see. I don't know. I've never been a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so I don't really get it. I cheer for a team that's never won the Stanley Cup. But, I grew up in a household where my father boasted about the fact that his favorite team, the Montreal Canadiens, had as many Stanley Cups as they did. Stephen A. Smith was kind of saying the same thing. When you have a fan base like the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to have all the love, but you're going to have as much criticism as you do love when you don't perform, because the fan base is so big and the expectations are so high. So I think it's a great comparison. It's absolutely a great comparison. When it comes to the National Football League, the Dallas Cowboys, like if you went over to Nigeria and you said, hey, do you know about the NFL? They'd go, Dallas Cowboys. I don't think they'd say that about the Toronto Maple Leafs, but the Dallas Cowboys certainly have a legacy behind them the same way the Toronto Maple Leafs do with hockey. And it's crazy to think that they have as much legacy as the Montreal Canadiens with half the amount of cups that they do. So there is no doubt that the love for the Toronto Maple Leafs from coast to coast is there. You can't go to a single corner of Canada without seeing a Maple Leafs jersey, but with that love comes the criticism.
Dave, you enjoy what you just saw? We do new clips every single day, twice a day on the Clips channel. You see clips right here. And beside Dave's crotch, we have a full-length show every single Sunday, right by my hand.
Click right here.